Antes de iniciarmos, vamos só ver o Dr. Liu. Isso, vamos começar agora então. Antes de iniciarmos, gostaria de avisar que esta sessão será realizada em inglês e português, com serviços de interpretação simultânea disponíveis. Para aqueles que compreendem tanto em inglês quanto em português, sugerimos que escolham o link com a opção idioma original. Aproveitem enquanto faço a introdução do evento e escolham a opção de idioma de sua preferência nesse canal. Sejam bem-vindas e bem-vindos ao segundo webinário da nossa série sobre transformação digital na era da inteligência artificial, empoderando as pequenas e médias empresas dos BRICS para um futuro competitivo. Após o relevante primeiro webinário da série, que ocorreu no dia 13 de março e teve como título nos BRICS, estamos aqui de novo para trazer o tema Acesso ao Mercado e Internacionalização das Pequenas e Médias Empresas nos BRICS. Meu nome é Caroline Davo e tenho a honra de ser mestre de cerimônias deste evento. Este webinário é organizado no âmbito da Presidência Brasileira dos BRICS 2025 como uma das entregas do Grupo de Trabalho de Pequenas e Médias Empresas do partir BRICS, com o objetivo de fomentar o diálogo estratégico sobre como a inteligência artificial e as tecnologias digitais podem fortalecer as micro, pequenas e médias empresas nos países dos BRICS. No final de cada painel, haverá um tempo para perguntas e respostas dos palestrantes. Fique à vontade para compartilhar suas ideias e perguntas, tanto em inglês quanto em português, por meio do chat ao longo do evento. Agora, para dar início oficialmente ao evento, passaremos as palavras de abertura e ouviremos a senhora Luciana Mancini, chair do Grupo de Trabalho de Pequenas e Médias Empresas dos BRICS e chefe da Assessoria Especial de Assuntos Internacionais do Ministro do Empreendedorismo, da Microempresa e da Empresa de Pequeno Porte do Brasil. Senhora Luciana, a palavra é sua.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed speakers, distinguished guests and colleagues from BRICS countries, as chair of the BRICS SME working group under the partner, and on behalf of the Ministry of Entrepreneurship and SMEs of Brazil, it is a great privilege to address you today as we convene for this critical discussion on e-commerce, market access and internationalization of BRICS SMEs. I want to reiterate and express our gratitude to our partners, the CETIC, the Regional Center for Studies on the Development of Information Society, and the SEBRAE, Brazil. So as we gather here, we recognize that SMEs are not just economic actors. They are the lifeblood of our economies and the catalyst for inclusive growth across our BRICS nations. Yet, despite their immense potential, SMEs continue to face formidable barriers when it comes to accessing new markets and expanding internationally and within the bloc as well, within the BRICS countries. They navigate regulatory complexities. They, normally struggle with financing gaps and confront digital divides that hinder their international competitiveness to a great extent. So our task today is to explore how we can address these challenges and unlock new opportunities for BRICS SMEs to integrate within the bloc and hopefully into the global economy as well. So across the BRICS nations, SMEs account for a significant share of employment and economic activity. They are the engines of job creation and innovation, yet their full potential remains largely untapped due to the structural barriers in trade, technology, and finance. Consider this. I mean, while digital transformation has revolutionized global commerce, many SMEs in the BRICS countries still struggle to harness the power of e-commerce. Cross-border transactions remain very complex due to regulatory fragmentation, legislation constraints, digital infrastructure gaps, and so on and so forth. If we truly want to foster sustainable economic development, sustainable economic growth, we must equip our SMEs with the tools, the policies, and networks they need to succeed on the international stage. So there are several, key challenges, but also opportunities for SMEs in international markets. Several quick questions should guide, to a certain extent, our reflection today. So how can BRICS SMEs leverage digital platforms to access BRICS countries' markets? If we take the rise and recognize the rise of e-commerce, e-commerce has presented a historic opportunity for SMEs to overcome traditional barriers and connect with consumers outside their countries. However, disparities in digital literacy, access to payment systems, and regulatory inconsistencies often limit their ability to scale. What strategies can we then implement to ensure SMEs benefit from the digital revolution? In particularly, as is the focus of our discussion here today, within BRICS countries. Now, number two, what role should digital policies and government frameworks and governance framework in general play in SMEs internationalization? A strongly regulatory foundation is essential to support cross-border trade and digital entrepreneurship. So how can BRICS nations harmonize policies to create a more seamless and business-friendly environment for SMEs, looking to expand beyond that domestic market into other BRICS countries? That's a very critical point we wish to discuss today. Number three, how can AI and digital transformation be leveraged to enhance SMEs' competitiveness? Artificial intelligence, automation, and data analytics have the potential to transform how SMEs operate, market their products, and engage with customers in the bloc, within the BRICS nations, within the BRICS bloc. Yet, many small businesses struggle to adapt these technologies to cost and expertise constraints. So what collaborative measures can BRICS countries take to promote digital inclusivity? And number four, how can we foster an international mindset among BRICS SMEs? Access to international markets, in particular to BRICS countries, to BRICS markets, is not just about logistics and technology. It is also about fostering a mindset of international competitiveness. SMEs need mentorship, training, and strategic partnerships to navigate BRICS countries' markets successfully. How can we then strengthen cross-border collaboration and knowledge sharing among BRICS entrepreneurs? So the BRICS partnerships offers a unique platform to address these issues collectively. So by working together, we can establish common frameworks for digital trade, facilitate SMEs networking opportunities, and promote investment in technological infrastructure. Initiatives such as cross-border e-commerce corridors, harmonized digital regulations, and SMEs financing programs can go a long way in supporting our entrepreneurs. So as we move forward, let us then try to commit to concrete actions that will empower BRICS SMEs in the global economy, strengthening digital infrastructure to ensure SMEs have access to fast, secure, and affordable technology, enhancing financial inclusion by creating innovative funding mechanisms that help SMEs scale internationally, promoting knowledge exchange, that's very important, through capacity building programs and industrial partnerships, and developing regulatory coherence to simplify cross-border trade and investment procedures for SMEs. So our discussion today are not just theoretical, they must be translated into actionable strategies that create like a real impact for SMEs in our countries. The time for change is really now, and through collaboration, innovation, and strategic policy making, we can redefine the role of BRICS SMEs in the blocs. With that, I invite you all to engage deeply in today's discussions, challenge existing perspectives, and contribute to shaping a more inclusive and dynamic future for SMEs. Thank you, and I really look forward to a productive and inspiring session today. Thank you.
Muito obrigada, senhora Luciana Mancini, por suas motivadoras palavras. Passaremos agora para o primeiro painel, Comércio Eletrônico e Pequenas e Médias Empresas nos BRICS. Essa discussão explorará como pequenas e médias empresas nos BRICS podem utilizar o comércio eletrônico para serem competitivas no mercado mundial. E para moderar este painel, damos as boas-vindas ao senhor Leonardo Lins, coordenador da pesquisa TIC Empresas do Centro Regional de Estudos para o Desenvolvimento da Sociedade da Informação, o CETIC-BR do NIC-BR. Leonardo, a palavra é sua.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, and welcome to our first panel of this webinar. My name is Leonardo Lins, and I am the coordinator of the ICT Enterprise Survey at the Regional Center for Studies on the Developed Information Society, the CETIC.br, at the Brazilian Network Information Center, NIC.br. It's a pleasure to have you here as we discuss the importance of e-commerce for SMEs in the BRICS countries. Digital technologies are transforming SMEs, empowering them to innovate and enhance efficiency. In this context, e-commerce plays a crucial role in expanding market access. It serves as a powerful tool for deeper economic integration of BRICS countries. Today, we have an outstanding panel of experts who will share insights on how BRICS countries can leverage e-commerce to drive economic growth and integration. I'd like to encourage you to actively participate, ask questions, and engage in this important conversation. So let's begin. We have here today with us Torbjörn Fredriksson, Head of E-commerce and Digital Economy Branch of the United Nations Trade and Development, UNCTAD. Nagwa Ibrahim Eshenawi, Professor at Cairo University and advisor at the Ministry of Communications. Philippe Dodd, Director of Government Relations of Alibaba. And Clarissa Furtado, Competitiveness Manager at the Brazilian Trade and Investment Promotion Agency, Apex Brazil. Let me start with Torbjörn. Torbjörn, how do you see the overall e-commerce landscape in BRICS countries, and what are the main challenges they face in leveraging e-commerce? You have the floor for 7 minutes.
Thank you so much, Leonardo, and warm greetings to all of you from Geneva, Switzerland. Let me start by thanking Luciana Mancini and the entire Brazilian BRICS presidency team for having invited Dante and me to address this webinar. I will take this opportunity to share with you some trends and insights from our work that I hope will be useful inputs to our overall discussion on this very important topic. UN Trade and Development, or UNCTAD, estimates that businesses in 43 developed and developing economies that represent 3/4 of global GDP generated about $27 trillion of e-commerce sales in 2022. Seems like a long time. Unfortunately, there's a big lag in the data. This represented a 60% increase since 2016, which is tremendous growth. Available data today suggests that this growth has continued into 2023. For example, in China, e-commerce business sales rose by as much as 20% in 2023. While we have only limited data on cross-border e-commerce sales, we estimate that they account for less than 1/4 of all business e-commerce sales. So still, e-commerce is largely a domestic affair in basically most countries. Within the BRICS countries, the only members for which we have time series data on e-commerce sales are China and Indonesia. And I would strongly encourage all the BRICS members to consider how best to collaborate in this area with a view to improving the availability of such crucial statistics, which are important to both inform policies, but also to keep track of any progress. And of course, UNCTAD would be very happy to support and participate in such joint efforts if needed. If we look at the specific area of online retail sales, our assessment suggests that they grew 3 times faster than overall retail between 2017 and 2023. However, the share of people shopping online varies considerably across the different BRICS members. For example, while more than 2/3 of people shopped online in 2023 in China and the United Arab Emirates, in Indonesia and Iran, less than 20% of people shopped online. So that is something to keep in mind as we compare and work together across the different countries. Given that this webinar has especially interest in internationalization, let me also say a few words about what we call digitally delivered services, which is an important component of digital trade. And this has also seen very fast growth in recent years. In the BRICS countries, digitally delivered services as a share of total exports of services now ranges from about 5% in Ethiopia to 86% in India. And with few exceptions, that share has risen in all BRICS countries during the past 5-6 years. In general, in both developed and developing countries, smaller businesses tend to be slower to take up and use digital solutions of various kinds. Nevertheless, many SMEs are already making good use of quite sophisticated technologies such as artificial intelligence. This might be with a view to improve customer services, personalize marketing activities, to optimize supply chains by predicting fluctuations and making logistics more efficient, detect fraudulent activities, and to improve social media communications. While in many BRICS countries, SMEs face various resource constraints, data scarcity, and uneven technology access, no doubt a growing number is creatively adopting AI to compete globally or regionally. Success cases emphasize localized solutions, partnerships with affordable tech providers, and incremental AI integration. One way to help ease SMEs access to such strategic resources can be to leverage various fintech and alternative sources of finance, which is always a short sector or narrow sector for many SMEs. But before concluding, I would also like to say a few words about how UNCTAD supports women digital entrepreneurs, which are mostly running SMEs in the developing world. As you know, the digital economy remains very male-dominated, and there is no reason why this should be the case. There are great opportunities for more women to take part in this as business leaders. In 2019, we launched the E-Trade for Women initiative to support women entrepreneurs to thrive in the digital economy and to make them a force for inclusive wealth creation and development. In terms of BRICS members, we are currently working with women digital entrepreneurs in China, Egypt, Ethiopia, India, Iran, and the UAE. Among various things, last year, UNCTAD organized a study tour to China for more than 30 women entrepreneurs, financially supported by the government of China. Over 10 days, these women made visits to leading artificial intelligence and e-commerce enterprises in Beijing and Shanghai, and were exposed to state-of-the-art practices, for example, in how to apply AI for e-commerce. The study tour provided opportunities to learn how China has fostered a thriving digital entrepreneurship ecosystem, and participants also actively engaged with experts to better understand and discuss various business models, growth strategies, logistics operations of different products, and corporate cultures and key growth strategies. For example, the founder of Brand e-commerce, who is also a former UNCTAD E-Trade for Women advocate, shared with participants her entrepreneurial journey marked by both successes and challenges. She highlighted the obstacles that women-led enterprises face and emphasized the crucial role of innovation for navigating the complexities of the digital economy. Such interactions help to inspire participants' confidence in pursuing their own entrepreneurial journeys. I think facilitating more sharing of experiences among small businesses and digital entrepreneurs in various BRICS countries could be really valuable in a broader effort to facilitate the internationalization of SMEs in the digital economy. This is an area where UNCTAD would be very happy to collaborate with the BRICS countries if you decide to move forward in this area. Let me stop here. I look very much forward to the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Torbjörn, for the insightful data that you brought us and for the important work that UNCTAD is doing on fostering e-commerce among developing economies. And now I will turn to Nagua, and I will ask you, Nagua, could you please share the key actions Egypt is taking to enhance e-commerce in the country? You have the floor for 7 minutes.
Thank you so much, Leonardo. Good afternoon, good morning, everyone. I would like first to thank the organizer of this important panel and event for inviting me to share the experience in this really, in the e-commerce and SMEs. Actually, let me, before reply to your question, Leonardo, I will try to highlight some substance about e-commerce in Egypt, which is rapidly growing sector right now, driven by increasing in the telecom infrastructure, especially by the mobile and the internet. We talk right now about 97% of mobile penetration in the country. We talk around more than 70% of individuals using the internet in the country. The growing also of the smartphone penetration, the social media user, which exceed 45 million users also right now. So this is, the tech-savvy, the young and the tech-savvy population, this is also one of the characteristics of this growing business in Egypt. Concerning the SMEs as well, SMEs represent the backbone of our economy. They contribute significantly to Egypt GDP, and they are also major employers, accounting large proportion of the country workforce. Some reports indicate that the SMEs employs around 75% of the workforce of our country. And also SME operate across wide range of sectors like the trade, the manufacturing, the services, especially in the tourism, the agriculture sector. And as I mentioned, since they are the backbone, they are dominant as they represent around 90% of all companies in our country. So the synergy between e-commerce and the SMEs is really existing already, and it's more and more it increases to enhance the competitiveness of the SMEs in our country. Concerning also the popular product category in our country, we have mainly the electronics category, the fashion and apparel, the home goods like the furniture, the food and beverage, the beauty and the personal care are the most popular category existing in our country. But in the meantime, we have in the same time as opportunity for SMEs in e-commerce, but still we have some challenges that the Egyptian SMEs are facing in order to expand in the e-commerce business. And one of this is related to the digital technology and the digital literacy. So still digital technology, the SMEs, they need to benefit and to leverage the benefit of the digital technology, especially, for example, for the AI, which has become very important as technology for this business. In addition to the digital literacy, as well as the logistic part, still a problem and great challenge for inefficient and reliable delivery, which can hinder the online sales. And this is also, especially if I talk about the small companies and the small business, this is a big challenge. The payment gateway and the competition as well, the intense competition from the larger company, in addition to the international company existing in the country. Also, the trust and the security concern. I'm talking here about the consumer, which may have some concern about online security or online access also to buy on the internet, despite the increase that happened after the penetration of the COVID during the year 20 and 21. Despite this and despite the increases in the shopping online by the individual, but still also this is a problem. And I believe this problem maybe is coming because of still the individual and the citizen need to have some knowledge and awareness about how to use the internet, how especially buy from the internet, and how to access trustable also websites in order to buy from the internet and to use the payments and their payment cards and the different means of payments. On the other side, we have opportunity for SMEs in e-commerce. Yes, we have. E-commerce enabled the SMEs to reach wider customer base beyond their local geography boundary. It reduced their costs. Online business, they often operate with lower overhead costs compared to the traditional brick and mortar. It also helped them to increase the brand visibility. The online platform provide valuable channel for the SMEs in our country to build the brand awareness. The data-driven decision-making, which is very important as well, because the platform provide valuable data and insights about the customer behavior and preferences to the SMEs decision-maker. And the government support. Yes, the Egyptian government is promoting the e-commerce in our country through many initiatives. Among them, it's initiative of the regulation and the legislation. We have the current legislation which support the e-commerce in Egypt, like the cybersecurity and the data protection law are in place. In addition to this, the infrastructure development. The country actually invested in the infrastructure, I mean by the telecom infrastructure development here. During only the last 2 years, it's more than 100 billion Egyptian pound in the telecom infrastructure. More than 70% is coming from the private sector and the remaining is from the government. And this is really helped a lot to improve the infrastructure. We have concerning the internet speed, which increased during the last 5 years, more than 15 times the internet speed of our country, which really, this is one of the key important progress happen in order to allow not only the people, the individual, but also the SMEs and all the businesses to access the internet, to do e-commerce on the internet. I think in my point of view as well, the opportunities for SMEs in e-commerce, I think this, if we talk about the BRICS market access, I think this is important because Egypt membership in BRICS provide SMEs with access to vast and growing markets In addition to this, the e-commerce platform can facilitate trade with BRICS member states, all the member states, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. This is opening up new revenue stream. And I think this is from both sides, not only from Egypt, I think as well as it's also from the BRICS country. The SMEs can specialize in product that this country demand, and this is very important as well. I think this is also from both sides, from the Egyptian side as well as from the BRICS country side. I think e-commerce, it's really present a significant opportunity for SMEs, not only in Egypt, but also within the BRICS market, and the continuing support from the government and from the private sector investment in the digital infrastructure and the involvement of the all stakeholders are really very important for sustainable growth of e-commerce in Egypt, and especially with the context of BRICS trade. With that, I stop here, and thank you very much, Leonardo, and for all the participants. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nagua, for the interest data on Egypt. And you mentioned something that we see here in Brazil, that the use of platforms by the SMEs to expose products, to have a presence online. And this is the perfect take for me to pass the floor for our next speaker, which is Philippe Dodd from Alibaba. And Philippe, we are, as Nagua said, and I have mentioned, and we now know the relevance of platform companies to enhance e-commerce among SMEs. So I would like to ask you, in your view, how companies like Alibaba can support SMEs and engage with e-commerce? You have the floor for 7 minutes.
Thank you, Leonardo. Thank you, Luciana, and the SMEs Ministry team for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here. See some familiar faces, Clarissa and other friends. I work as the Director of Public Policy of Alibaba across Latin America, so I can bring a little bit of my regional experience, as well as the global experience of Alibaba. For those that don't know, Alibaba is one of the largest e-commerce platforms in the world. We serve more than 1.4 billion users. We are the largest e-commerce platform in China, and we work in more than 170 countries. So it's a global coverage, and it's coming from a place that we had to develop e-commerce and the digital economy together with the private SMEs economy. That's what happened in China. And I think it's a good example when we look to other BRICS countries of how to foster the development of the digital economy, income generation for lower income communities or not central communities, and also for women. In China, Alibaba was founded in 1999, and over the years, it realized that it had to work together with governments, with the federal administration, with the provincial administrations, with local administrations, to create the digital ecosystem that we now see so strong in China. So they started developing some trainings, capacity building programs, and that worked pretty well. One of them, my favorite ones, is one called Taobao Villages. I think people from this call may be familiar with. It's a program where you could, in partnership with local governments, Alibaba would train and capacitate the very, very small farmers of continental Western China, especially these places. So they went to villages, small villages, and they would help and teach these small farmers on how to sell on the digital economy. At that point, Alibaba was basically the main and the most important platform in China. Now there are others, and they sell on many platforms. But across the years, these entrepreneurs, they started to create and generate income without intermediaries. I think one of the most important things about e-commerce is that you can reduce the number of intermediaries on an economic chain. So you don't have to, go to a distributor and then to another distributor to sell your product to the end consumer. You can connect with the end consumer straight from your place with your computer. And then you have some other tactics. You can do live marketing. You can do things that are cheap and that you can market your product and advertise it inside the platform. So this was very successful. It's still in place. When we visited China last year, there was a delegation of government officials from Brazil that we had a very interesting meeting with those in charge of the Taobao Villages program inside Alibaba. I myself visited one Taobao village in China. It was incredible to see, from where they went to where they got. And it was more than a 10 times increase in their income. And this program has been awarded by the World Bank. So it is something very interesting. I think, speaking as a Brazilian, the government here is trying and pushing very hard to help small and medium companies to sell on e-commerce platforms. There are many initiatives. We have, for instance, one partnership with Apex. This is here. And it's a very important partnership, but it's focused on exports, which is quite hard. I mean, exporting from Latin American countries, from Brazil, from SMEs especially, it's quite unusual in this place. If you look at the other BRICS countries, it's much more common. Our footprint in China, our footprint in India, our footprint in even Saudi Arabia and other places that are not from the BRICS, but are friends from BRICS like Vietnam, is much larger when you talk about exporting SMEs from these places to the world. So I think it's something that needs to be developed. And I think I see many efforts from the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises, from Apex, from Ministry of Development, but I still don't see how fast we're moving towards these Asian numbers, because maybe because here we're not used to that, maybe because our small and medium companies are usually focused on the internal market, which is big enough already, maybe because we are not we don't have enough exporting culture. I think we're addressing all these points. I do believe that our efforts are moving in the right direction. And I'm glad to keep working on it. And I think this webinar here is to discuss and understand experiences from other places like Egypt, as our dear colleague was just saying, on how they could digitalize the economy. I think the Brazilian economy is already pretty much digitalized. E-commerce platforms are already in here for the internal market. But I see opportunities, regional opportunities, Brazilians exporting to Argentina, global opportunities. We have some success stories. People exporting from like a 5-person company exporting to the UK, but we could have more. So I am happy. I think we can do more. We're in the right direction, but I feel that having these discussions will help us get into the right place. And I thank again the Ministry of Small and Medium Companies for the invitation, and I'm happy to answer questions from the audience. Thank you.
Thank you, Philip, for your insights on one of the we have been discussing this morning one of the biggest challenges among SMEs, which is the capacity building, and how can a large company help companies to improve their efficiency, their operations. So I think this is once we have tackled this issue, I think you can move forward to the another one, which is the biggest challenge. And I will pass the floor to Clarissa, who could share with us how Apex is supporting SMEs in accessing new markets. So because, well, one of the biggest challenges that we have mentioned this morning as well was internationalization. So Clarissa, you have the floor for 7 minutes.
Thank you, Leonardo. Good morning, everyone. First, I'd like to thank the organizer of this panel, especially the Ministry of Entrepreneurship. It's a pleasure to be here. As we know, as we discussed, e-commerce has completely transformed the way we do business. It has broken down barriers, making it easier than ever for companies, big or small, to reach customers worldwide. But while the opportunities are enormous, expanding internationally, as we said, comes with its own set of challenges. For SMEs, some obstacles in e-commerce are even greater. Limited access to financial and technological resources, difficulty in structuring efficient digital operations, and complex logistical barriers are just some examples of these difficulties. Additionally, the lack of strategic partners abroad can make it harder for this business to compete with global players. That's where Apex Brazil comes in. As Brazilian trade and investment promotion agents, our mission is to help Brazilian companies expand internationally, and e-commerce plays a crucial role in this effort. As we are talking, we develop a lot of actions to help Brazilian companies to enter in the international market through e-commerce. Recognizing the growing importance of digital trade, we launched a specialized program in 2017 to help Brazilian business, especially SMEs, navigate the global e-commerce landscape. But as we know, e-commerce is growing all the world, has become a driving force in global trade, fueled by digital transformation, increased internet access, and evolving consumer habits. In 2024, the global e-commerce market reached approximately $11 trillion, growing at an annual rate of 14.1% over the past 5 years. This trend is expected to continue at 10.7% per year until 2029. But only a fraction of these transactions are cross-border sales or international purchase of goods. Currently, China and the US lead this segment, cross-border, but Brazil is emerging as a strong player, with its cross-border e-commerce market reaching $12.6 billion in 2024, growing at an impressive 26.3% annually over the past 5 years. Domestically, Brazil has a thriving e-commerce ecosystem, as we said, driven by its large consumer market, improved digital infrastructure, and financial innovations like instant payment systems. In Latin America, Brazil leads the region, accounting for more than half of all online sales. And many SMEs are already leveraging marketplaces, social media, and their own websites to tap into this growing digital economy. While challenges remain, Brazilian businesses are increasingly investing in technology, AI solutions, and e-commerce capabilities to stay competitive. And how Apex Brazil supports these SMEs in e-commerce? We have our e-commerce program, as I said, launched in 2017, structured around 3 key pillars. The first one is awareness and education. To do this, we organize, for example, the e-export meeting, which is the Brazil's biggest e-commerce event, international e-commerce event, held every July during the e-commerce Brazil Forum in São Paulo. This year, we will focus our discussion in this forum on AI and e-commerce, and we are expecting 400 companies to join in person and over 1,500 watching online. We also offer training and acceleration programs. We offer an online introductory course on international e-commerce with 20 hours of training. We partner with major marketplaces like Amazon and Alibaba to run acceleration programs, helping business navigating their e-commerce journey. More than 700 companies have participated so far in these programs, in these acceleration programs, and nearly 100 now operate their own stores on these platforms. Apex Brazil also provides market intelligence and technical training on logistics, taxation, and export process through programs like PayX, which is our program to qualify companies to export. A recent initiative includes a subsidy program that helps SMEs invest in essential digital services, offering up to 40,000 reais for each Brazilian company to enhance their e-commerce capability. And the third pillar is market access and business opportunities. We organize international business missions for Brazilian companies. For example, in June, we are taking 20 Brazilian fashion brands to Miami, where they will meet with e-commerce solution providers and potential B2B clients. We also run By Brazil, which is an online catalog where companies can showcase their products to international buyers. Through all these initiatives, Apex Brazil will support over 2,500 companies this year, helping them capitalize on the vast opportunities in global e-commerce. One key takeaway I'd like to leave with you is that international expansion through e-commerce is no longer just for big companies. SMEs have a unique opportunity to compete and grow globally, but they need the right strategy, the partners, and the right support. And Apex Brazil and other partners as SEBRAE and the ministry, as a lot of other partners in this ecosystem are supporting companies to do this. So thank you, Leonardo. That's what I have to share with you today.
Thank you, Clarissa, for sharing with us the important actions that Apex is conducting for facing this important challenge of internationalization of SMEs. We know that this is a big issue, so thank you very much. And now let's open the floor for some questions from the audience. And if you have any, please feel free to submit them, and I will direct them to our panelists. Well, so I will start, and maybe we'll wait for the audience to warm up so we can discuss here a little bit. Well, I think I will direct my questions to everybody, so you can give your take on that. So, as you mentioned, we discussed here in this morning two big issues, I think. Well, one was the capacity building. We discussed issues on connectivity, on digital skills among SMEs, and the other was internationalization. So maybe I think we can discuss here, wrapping up our discussion, how do you can see that governments can help government, and also how companies can work together to try to overcome these obstacles and try to build up a more digital ecosystem among BRIC companies, in which e-commerce would take a big part and generate jobs and improve economic growth. So I would like to hear your ideas about that, and I think Torbjörn, you can give us a big picture on that. You have the floor.
Thank you, Leonardo. Yeah, just to break the ice. So very quickly, I think as has been very well illustrated in this panel, you need to work on many different levels to get this to work. Many SMEs are still struggling with the basics. And then when they actually start knowing how to go into e-commerce, the first step is typically to do it locally in the country. But as was stressed by Clarissa, the opportunities for going international now is bigger than ever. At the same time, as soon as you enter this international amazing university of e-commerce, it's also extremely competitive because all the countries are competing in the same system here. So I think learning from players like Alibaba that have a presence in many parts of the world, that are strong knowledge about how to interact with different countries and different markets, can be very important. I think the national export organizations that such as Apex Brazil and so on can, I think, work very smartly together with other export organizations in other BRICS countries to find out how do we best reach your market, how do you best reach ours. And then I think it's also important to really take a good look at the basic challenges that many of the BRICS countries still struggle with in terms of providing a good ecosystem for e-commerce growth among SMEs. Everything from the connectivity side to the skills availability to the regulatory environment and so on, and try to do that in a kind of a whole of government approach. And this is always the challenge, especially also for the BRICS context. If you want to collaborate between the different member states, which ministry should be involved? We always organize by ministries, and e-commerce is not organized by ministries. It cuts across, and that's one of the biggest challenges that we had to face it. But the BRICS can really make a difference here.
Thank you, Torbjörn. Now we have one question that from the audience. I would like to forward to you, and there is a question specifically from Brazil, and I think that, but you feel free to answer as well. Brasilis Consultoria asked us, I believe that Brazil still has a long journey of investment to drive innovation, to increase productivity, generate qualified jobs, and reduce inequalities. Can you comment on this? So I think we can discuss how can we improve the digital maturity of SMEs to try to generate good quality jobs and to improve their efficiency. How can we do that? I think maybe Clarissa, you could answer that.
Yes. I think that as Mr. Torbjörn said, it's a coordinated work that need to be done by a lot of ministries, companies, and institutions that support companies, because we know that Brazil is a country that is very adopted to new technologies. I think that we are earlier adopters of a lot of things here. So we have our entrepreneurs are very prepared to work in the digital ecosystem in a certain way, but they need support in many other aspects. For example, to export, they will need support to understand the procedures of exportation, how we can export in terms of logistics and the taxes and so on. So I think that it's very important to coordinate these actions and to change information to help Brazilian companies in a better way. And we count with a lot of private partners as well, as Alibaba, for example. I think that the marketplaces, they are disposed, they are open to do this because they know that the SMEs can bring new products, can bring innovation, can bring things that the consumers are keen to consume, sustainable things, sustainable products. So I think that this coordination of many actors could be successful meaning to do this, way to do this.
Oh, thank you, Clarissa. And I think your answer it's important because the next question I will direct to Felipe. It's about this relation for Alibaba and small companies, and as Tupan, I think I pronounce correctly, have a question whether if Alibaba have a division or a partnership with any game development company. This is interesting because we know that this game industry is populated by small companies, and Brazil it's a large player on this. So I think you can explore more on how what are the partnerships that Alibaba has on with other SMEs in specific sectors and specific activities.
Thank you, Leonardo. Not that I'm aware of any existing partnerships for the gaming industry, but you never know. In China, we have so many businesses that there may be something. We have something like Netflix in China, which is called Youku, which is a video streaming platform. We also have second-handed goods platforms, so on and so forth, but not that I'm aware of the gaming industry. But we try to partner with certain industries. The e-commerce world is made specially for smaller companies. The big ones, those large Brazilian exporters selling commodities to the world, they don't need to run it through an e-commerce platform. They have their distributors, they have their contacts. But a small and medium company, they can find their clients inside our platforms, or else they can source their inputs from our platforms. So, which is actually very interesting. And then we try to partner with the most interesting industries. For instance, Brazilian coffee. Brazilian coffee is something that we try to export to the world, and it's made by small farmers. You have value added because of the brand, the flavor, all that stuff. So we try to partner with the specific industries where we can add value to small and medium sellers. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Philip. And I have one last question. I think I will forward to Nagua because she mentions maybe it's a scenario that we have here in Brazil as well, because our SMEs are very dependent on social media to have an online presence. And the question from Fabio Seni is, how can we reduce this extremely dependence on platforms, social media, and among SMEs to try to build a more autonomous online presence? And how can we improve the online presence of digital companies, of SMEs in BRICS countries? Thank you.
Thank you, Leonardo, for your question. I will try to reply to this question and also highlight something of the first question that you already addressed and reply by my dear friend Torbjörn. It's concerning the capacity building of the SMEs. And actually, this is one of the important and strong really support from the government to the SMEs in Egypt. And I think also on the top of this Ministry of Industry, which provide really our SMEs with all the capacity building in the different program they needed. In addition to this, also other organizations, they provide capacity building and digital skills in order to cope with the digitalization and digital transformation, and in order to leverage as well from the benefit of the digitalization happening in Egypt. Concerning the social media, it's becoming fact and right now that the SMEs, the small, the micro enterprise, they use, instead of having, for example, website or platform and the hassle of managing this website and the cost of this, they started to have their own pages on the different social media like the Facebook and the Instagram, and this is becoming really a fashion and trend for all of them. They use this. And you mentioned in your first question related to the connectivity, I think I already covered this in my presentation, that really the government spend a lot of investment for enhancing and improving the connectivity in the country and increasing speed internet in the country with the broadband and the different technology. Also, I would like to mention concerning the internationalization of e-commerce. Right now, we have Amazon in Egypt, we have Jumia, which play a great role in our country, and we have now Egyptian SMEs already existing in this platform. In addition to Alibaba as well, we have Egyptian SMEs who are existing and who already export their product and services through this important platform, and this is to help them to reach global markets and regional market and export their product and service everywhere. I would like to also to comment on as mentioned by Torbjörn, that the problem is that yes, e-commerce is not organized by one ministry. But what I would like to mention here, in order to succeed, it should be an integrated effort between different ministries and organizations. Private sector should be there, also the international organization, the academia, the ministries, all of this should be there. They should work together and integrate their effort in order to make e-commerce succeeded within every country and within the BRICS country as well. So it's, but I believe as well, we need some market research and researches in some of the area in order to see what the needs of every market from SMEs. So I think this is also one of the important issues that we should take it into our consideration. Thank you very much, Leonardo.
Thank you, Nagua. And before you wrap up, I'd like to ask you, each of you, to summarize in one sentence. We are facing some time constraints here. The biggest challenge the BRIC country face in developing digital skills for e-commerce. And please be really brief. You have 1 minute tops for this sentence. Torbjörn, please.
I think it is to set a clear strategy for moving forward and learn from best practice within the BRICS. There is a great resource that you have available now with all the countries, and build on that and move forward.
Thank you. Nagua, please.
I think, in my view, it will be the complexity of international trade, including the customs and the regulation. I think this is also need to be taken into consideration, need to be studied very well in order to facilitate the trade, the exports, and the e-commerce and the digital trade between those countries. Thank you.
Thank you, Nagua. Please, Philippe.
Thank you for the invitation. And well, Alibaba is here to serve and help SMEs exporting across the globe. Our mission is to make it easier to make business everywhere. So the more we can help, the better. We're happy to be here. Thank you, Mempi, again for the invitation. A pleasure to be here.
Thank you. And Clarissa, please.
Yeah, I think the main challenges are logistic, financial, and technological resources for SMEs. So we can help here in Apex Brazil with information, capability, intelligence markets, and business capacity building, but count with other agents to have the support in other points.
Thank you, Clarissa. Well, thank you all for this insightful and inspiring discussion. Today, we have reinforced that e-commerce is our opportunity for SMEs to compete and innovate in the global economy. I extend my deepest gratitude to our esteemed panelists for sharing their expertise, and to all of you for actively participating in this first of our 2 webinars. Now, I hand the floor back to our Master of Ceremonies. Thank you.
Obrigada, Leonardo, pela moderação do painel, bem como agradecemos aos painelistas por esse debate enriquecedor. Agora, passamos ao segundo painel. Promovendo políticas digitais e a internacionalização das pequenas e médias empresas, onde será discutido o papel das políticas digitais e as ferramentas de inteligência artificial no sucesso das pequenas e médias empresas. Lembramos que ao final do painel haverá um tempo para perguntas e respostas dos palestrantes. Vocês podem enviar as perguntas tanto em inglês quanto em português pelo chat. Convido a moderadora desta sessão, Lina Volpini, gerente da Unidade de Inovação e Competitividade do SEBRAE Minas Gerais, para apresentar os painelistas e conduzir a discussão. Lina, a palavra é sua.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this second panel. So our second panel is called Fostering Digital Policies and Internationalization for SMEs. As our master of ceremony said, my name is Lina Volpini. I am now head of innovation and market access for SEBRAE Minas. And SEBRAE is the Brazilian support service for SMEs. It's a pleasure to be here moderating this important discussion on the role of digital policies in the internationalization of small and medium-sized enterprises within the BRICS countries. As digitalization accelerates the transformation of global trade, small businesses are finding new opportunities, but also facing many challenges in accessing international markets. So today, we are going to explore how digital policies, governance structure, and artificial intelligence tools are helping SMEs thrive both locally and globally. We are honored to have in this panel some very important experts who work directly on these topics in highly impactful organizations. Well, I'd like to give my warmest welcome to our panelists and thank you for your availability in sharing with us your knowledge and experience today. Well, we are going to start now calling our first panelist, Mr. Quan Zhao. Mr. Quan Zhao is the trade policy consultant at the International Trade Center, specializing in research and project management related to trade in services, e-commerce, and cross-border investment. Mr. Zhao, please, I would like for you to share with us your insights for this panel today. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Lina. Obrigado. Thanks to the BRICS presidency for inviting ITC to this important event. Very much delighted to be here. My name is Quan. I work with the International Trade Center in the trade policy team. ITC, the International Trade Center, is a joint agency of the UN and World Trade Organization, and we focus on supporting SMEs to tap into the international markets and enhance their competitiveness in the global market. So the topic today on digitalization, digital transformation, and SMEs, I think it's a very important one, and I'll address this from the policy and regulatory perspectives. We all know that regulations play a key role in fostering digital economy. It's not only in terms of governments providing incentives, strategies, support to SMEs. But what we hear from the SMEs on the ground is that regulations and policies are needed to provide them with the legal assurance and predictability of the business environment, because that gives them the confidence to invest into the digital sectors. So I think a lot of BRICS countries are doing great in terms of having the right regulatory and policy frameworks in place. But there are still some gaps in some, especially in some BRICS Plus countries, in terms of having adequate regulatory frameworks on issues like e-signatures, e-authentication, data and platform governance, privacy protection, online consumer protection, cybersecurity, competition, and etc. So ITC has been helping the countries to review their regulatory and legal frameworks and update them so that the countries' legal frameworks can provide a secure, enabling, and predictable environment for SMEs. On the other hand, we also emphasize that regulations should not be excessively burdensome. Excessively burdensome regulations not only make it costly for SMEs to do business, but also they create space for rent-seeking and corruption. and nor should the policies to be protectionist, as we know that digital market is evolving very fast. And only through open market and collaboration can countries, especially the BRICS, achieve the goal of developing their digital economy. I'd like to share an encouraging example is that India, for example, one of the largest economies within the BRICS, recently lifted ban on some of the Chinese apps entering the Indian market. Even though these apps, maybe they're developed by Chinese companies, but the significant share of value generation is happening locally, especially in terms of local deployment of these apps, adaptations and production of local versions of these apps, promotion, customer services, and etc. And that same applies to, for example, Indian companies operating in China. Infosys, we know, is a big global player in terms of software industries. And Infosys actually has a dedicated workforce of over 1,000 personnel in China, providing customer services, help desk, financing and accounting services, human resources, and other services to the Chinese clients. So there we already see a lot of interactions among the BRICS and collaboration on the business front. And one area I think where we see a lot of potential is digitally delivered services trade. We had done a joint report with UNCTAD, with Torbjörn's team, in 2022 on BRICS digital economy, which was a report that was produced at the request of the BRICS presidency. And that report shows that collectively, BRICS countries account for about 30% of global export of information and communication technology goods. But at the same time, they only account for 11% of global export of digitally deliverable services. So there's certainly a mismatch between the terms of in terms of the share in global trade of goods and services. And we know that services usually have lower entry thresholds. It can be a small SME, it can be even a freelancer exporting design, coding, consulting, marketing, and back office services, either directly to the clients overseas or to foreign companies that are entering the local market. I think someone mentioned gaming, and we have a great example from one of our projects that supported game companies in Philippines, which connected them with some larger companies from Japan, which invested into those gaming companies in the Philippines. Then subsequently, they developed products that entered into the global market. And another point I think was also mentioned earlier is the importance of harmonization of the regulations. It's always very costly if companies have to develop different strategies and compliance procedures for different set of rules. So having one set of rules across different markets can make it less costly for companies to enter the markets. So BRICS have been working together on harmonizing rules through different platforms and mechanisms. And it will be important to enhance collaboration in areas such as recognition of e-signatures and EIDs, interconnection of digital payment systems, alignment of the regulations with the international practices. Take the electronic bills of lading as an example. ITC has been supporting the BRICS to develop a report this year on the use of EBLs, electronic bills of lading in BRICS countries. EBLs are digitized version of bills of lading, which are used in trade. And EBLs can significantly reduce trade costs and streamline trade processes. Our report finds that BRICS countries are at various stages in the adoption of EBLs, and much work has to be done on aligning regulatory frameworks, developing interoperable solutions, facilitating data exchange, and enhancing collaboration among policymakers and as well as among the private sector. And Lina, you mentioned AI. AI is certainly at the forefront of digitalization. An encouraging example is DeepSeek, which we saw on headlines this year, and this is a emerging competitor and strong competitor to the large language models, which are mostly led by the US companies. And the DeepSeek demonstrated the possibility of developing LLMs with much lower cost. The emergence of DeepSeek, I think, has instilled a sense of confidence among the BRICS that even with much smaller investments and much lower thresholds of hardware, BRICS countries can leverage these new powerful tools in AI. And actually, ITC is already working on SMEs using AI tools. My colleague Matthew will talk more about that in detail. But we're already helping a lot of SMEs, especially in e-commerce, to use AI tools for content generation, improving product description, generating images and videos for their e-commerce websites, use AI for market research, automating customer services, translations, and also automating coding and development of softwares and apps. So there's a lot of potential, and I look forward to hearing more from other panelists. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sal. Thank you for displaying the important work ITC has been doing within BRICS countries to facilitate a more friendly legal and digital framework for companies, and giving us also some practical examples of how companies are already benefiting from it. We'll have some more time at the end, I believe, to discuss a little bit more about it. Now, I'd like to welcome our second panelist, Mr. Mathieu Loridan, from the World Trade Organization, the Global Trade Help Desk. He is an expert in trade data and digital tools for market access. Wow, this is very important. Tools are always very welcome. So, Mr. Loridan, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, obrigado. And bom dia a todos. Good morning to you all in Brazil, and thank you for this opportunity to be here with you today to share a few thoughts about how AI can continue to foster SME internationalization and some of the lessons we can learn from it based on our work on the Global Trade Desk. So I will continue talking about artificial intelligence following Tran discussion. My name is Mathieu Loridan, and I actually work for ITC, not the WTO, in the Trade and Market Intelligence sections, where we have been working for decades in helping firms and government authorities to make informed decisions and helping develop their export strategies. For that, we have created a number of digital platforms over the years, but we have also noticed that sometimes smaller firms lack time and resources to really harness the information and use it to take advantage of new opportunities. So back in 2017, ITC joined forces with UN Trade and Development and WTO, our parent organizations, together with 8 other international and regional organizations to simplify market research for SMEs by creating the Global Trade Desk, bringing together a vast array of information from across our agencies as well as private sector partners, a platform providing a unique entry point for trade and business intelligence in a single search. The GTS platform was launched in 2020, and its Portuguese version the year after in 2021. Thanks to a collaboration with Apex Brazil, it was also integrated into their BRICS portal more recently. The platform is also available in 8 languages, including the newest BRICS versions in Bahasa Indonesian as well as Chinese, which were both launched last year with the support of local BSOs. Since then, the platform has been widely used by companies across the globe, and in 2023, it was recognized by the G20 Trade and Investment Ministers. The G20 launched the JPO Call for Action, asking partners to work toward leveraging AI and emerging technologies to make the GTH information even more accessible. But before delving into how AI can transform the accessibility of information, let's take a quick look on how AI is already supporting internationalization efforts. First, AI reduces cost and optimizes supply chains. Artificial intelligence is already helping businesses to overcome some of the traditional barriers to trade by automating logistics, customs clearance, and compliance processes. AI significantly lowers the time and costs associated with moving goods across borders. AI-powered search and matchmaking tools also reduce the burden of finding new buyers, suppliers, and distribution channels, while AI-driven translation tools can help break down language barriers, facilitating smoother negotiations and partnerships. In supply chains, AI improves forecasting, inventory management, and demand planning. Real-time tracking and predictive analytics also help firms automatize routes, reduce delays, and cut transportation costs. AI is also transforming two other critical areas that were flagged by Tran: financing and regulatory compliance. In trade finance, AI already enhances credit assessments by analyzing a wider range of data, leading to better risk evaluations and expanded access to financing for firms, particularly small businesses that often struggle to secure credit. AI tools are also widely used to detect fraud and irregularities, making trade finance more secure. On the compliance side, AI can streamline how businesses and customs authorities navigate complex regulatory landscape. It helps automate custom processes, improve risk management, and ensure accurate documentation, reducing delays and human errors. These improvements are particularly important, again, for small companies and developing economies where regulatory challenges can be a major obstacle to trade. Finally, beyond efficiency, AI plays a crucial role in expanding access to international trade and services and supporting inclusion. It enables firms to participate more easily in services trade by boosting productivity, especially in sectors like consulting, education, finance, and consumer service. AI can allow firms to offer competitive digital services globally. At the same time, it reduces the need to outsource certain services, keeping more value within local businesses. It is important, by lowering trade and compliance costs, that AI can help MSMEs better integrate into the global value chain. This creates new opportunities, in particular in small businesses in developing countries, to compete in a more level playing field.
It seems we had a little problem with Mr. Loridan's connection. We'll wait for him to be back with us soon. And meanwhile, I would like to call the next panelists we have here. And then afterwards, we can go back to Mr. Loridan, okay? So I will now call to the floor Mr. Benno Weissner. He is the chair of the Digital Sector Group at the Enterprise Europe Network, a leader in digitalization and innovation for SMEs. Please, Mr. Weissner, be free to share with us your experience and how this experience can help us, our SMEs, to enter international market.
Yes, okay. Thank you very much for the kind invitation and for inviting me. So my name is Benno Weissner. I'm from the Center of Innovation and Technology in Germany, North Rhine-Westphalia. So we are an agency that support, on the one hand, innovation, so the development of new products in SMEs, and on the other hand, the internationalization, so the access to new markets for SME, because we think that should go hand in hand. And we are a partner in different projects, so maybe I explain what we normally do. So we work especially with SMEs from all over North Rhine-Westphalia, but also in Europe and behind. And we support them on the one hand, especially digital companies, and on the other hand, users of digital services. We have an own department that supports, for example, the implementation of new technologies like artificial intelligence in SMEs. So we help them to develop together use cases, the right strategy, implementation and financing in this area. On the other hand, we help digital companies that develop maybe also own solutions for large language models or for other AI adaptations and solutions to go international. We do it in a way that we work in the frame of the Enterprise Europe network, but also with other partners like GIZ or other initiatives where we are working for. And there we try to help individually each SME to find the right way. So we work with a network in more than 60 countries that we support, and we have different instruments. So we work in a kind of hub and spoke model. So if you need expertise for one of our SMEs for a special question, we can ask our colleagues. If we have this not in-house in other regions or also abroad, so we can ask our partners in the Netherlands, also like in South Korea or Japan about that. And that's how we work to support that. And this is also about networking, finding partners, finding the right expertise worldwide. So that's what we do daily. And we have the strategy here also to work with partnerships, because we believe also the networking or partnerships are very important here. Another point is that we use also different help desks like IPR help desk or other institutions to support our clients, and we also combine the different ecosystems we have, especially in the digital sector, meanwhile, where we can help with different access, like, for example, test before invest, so that you can test your digital solution in a real environment before you do a huge investment, because it's very important for SMEs. As you heard before, SMEs want a stable surrounding, and that's more than important that they know that investment that they will do is really working. So, and of course we do several other things, so like you do, like organizing of delegations. So we had last year a delegation from Brazil that we hosted here. And also we do a lot of matchmakings and helping to find the right network. So it's really a huge success. And what I really believe, if SME is not already in a digital transformation, it will be lost. Just a picture from yesterday, I was 2 days on Hannover Fair, which is a leading fair for industry. So 30 years ago, I was there, and there was a huge only halls with machines and machinery. Nowadays, it's all about digitalization, cybersecurity, automatization and so on. And I found a lot of new interesting solutions also for the internationalization of SMEs, because with this help of this AI-driven or gene AI-based solutions, the process of internationalization is much faster than 15 years ago when we started with that. Yeah, that's so my first impression. So if you have any question, let me know afterwards. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Weissner. Thank you for sharing with us some of the work you have been doing. It's very good to know, especially for entrepreneurs, that there are companies such as yours helping them to face the challenges in internationalization and cross-border trade. Thank you very much. And we will have some questions afterwards. Let's just finish here with our panelists. Mathieu, are you ready to come back? Are you here with us? Can we come back with your presentation?
Yes, I'm very sorry.
Thank you. Oh, we are glad you're back. And you were just sharing with us some of the benefits of the AI tools, right? How can they benefit the SMEs? So we are eager to continue hearing from you. Floor is yours.
Thank you. There has been a little internet issue in ITC because both Tran and I were disconnected for a few seconds. But thank you for giving me the opportunity. So I recap quickly. So we talked about how AI could support SMEs, and then we were looking at how it can help them to do market analysis, market research. So I wanted to illustrate that by taking an example of an exporter from Indonesia looking at entering India and looking for the tariffs information. So we've tried a basic prompt using different large language models, including DeepSeek, which one was mentioning, but also the traditional one, ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini. And then it was very surprising that the results were often inaccurate and inconsistent. None of them correctly presented the customs tariff, the preferential agreement, or the correct rate. DeepSeek was the one closest actually to the correct answers. So what we did after that, we looked again, but this time we decided to compare and provide a much more detailed parameters and inclusion instructions to the prompt. And even then, the results remained very inconsistent and inaccurate. Some very basic information like finding the HS code were correct, but then on getting the right tariff, customs tariff, and the right preferential rates was not easy for all the models, despite this information being widely available in customs websites of India. I'm sure if one look in Google and then investigate a few websites, they will find the right information. And in ITC, market analysis tools and the global trade data, this is something one can get in one click, and this information is validated. That's, I think, the whole point. Meaning that, it can support, but then we have to be super cautious on how to use. And this leads me to maybe few ideas, recommendations. AI is evolving weekly, and model accuracy will hopefully improve with time. But based on our experience, we would recommend 3 strategies for trying to harness the benefits of AI while minimizing the risk of hallucination and inconsistency. First, to build AI solutions and reliable data sets. That's number one. And that's what we are trying to do at IDC with large data sets that we have. This will diminish the possibility of hallucination, but also build on a strong foundation to help businesses make informed decisions. Second, when using LLMs, be diligent about prompt engineering. Ask for sources, cross-check and verify, and then ask different models to critique the results. Accuracy of trade information is fundamentally important, and strong effort are needed to ensure that the results you obtain are timely and relevant. And finally, ramping up AI skills in the business community is imperative, especially those SMEs who can reap great productivity gains in market analysis, content creation, and export compliance. So we've been keen to work with the BRICS on diverse aspects related to the Global Trade Desk, and I thank you again for your invitation, and we look forward to continuing the journey as we work towards revolutionizing access to information for small businesses. So thank you again for giving me the time to conclude my presentation, and happy to answer any question.
Thank you, Mr. Lorida. Thank you for sharing with us some of the work you have been doing, and we know how hard it is for SMEs to think about strategies before they enter international countries, and having the help of AI tools and also accessing critical information can help them make the right decisions. So thank you very much. Well, we are going now to the last panelists of this second panel. And I would like to invite Mr. Liu Yuji and Mrs. Liu Zifang, who are representatives from the Kingdee International Software Group, one of the China's leading providers of digital solutions for SMEs, to share with us some of their insights and experiences concerning the SMEs' needs for internationalization. So please be welcome. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Lina. Thank you, Leonardo. Good morning or good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Distinguished delegates, it's a great honor to be involved to speak at this high-level BRICS SME Digital Transformation Forum. My name is Yu J. On behalf of Kingdee, I would like to thank the organizer for this opportunity to share our perspective on how digital policies and technology can empower SME to thrive in the global market. As we all know, small and middle-sized enterprises are the backbone of our economies, always play a critical role. They might be agile, they might be innovative and deeply connected to the needs of local community. As to BRICS nations, which represent around 40% of the global population and 25% of GDP, yet many SMEs in BRICS countries are still struggling with outdated process and technology. Furthermore, when it comes to internationalization, many SMEs face complex challenges like fragmented digital regulation, like diverse compliance requirements and limited access to digital tools. Kindee's customer already covered more than 117 countries, including all BRICS nations. Most of them are SME. So today, I will share some insights and experiences from our perspective, from our previous experiences, focus on the following three key areas. First, harmonizing digital regulation for seamless cross-border operation. One of the biggest barriers for SME going global, going international, is the inconsistency in digital policies across border, like tax rule, like e-invoice standards, and the data protection law can vary greatly, increasing compliance costs and operation risk. To address this, BRICS countries can collaborate in the following area, like develop a standard framework for digital trade, e-invoicing, and cross-border tax process, to introduce regularly sandboxes to allow SME to test artificial intelligence and automation technology in a flexible, low-risk environment, to promote mutual recognition of digital identities and compliance mechanisms. At Kingdee, we have worked with various regulatory authorities to ensure that our cloud-based ERP systems stay agile with local compliance standards, helping SME expand with great confidence. Second, the role of artificial intelligence and digital tools in SME internationalization. With the rise of AI and cloud computing, SMEs now have access to power technology that can simplify global operation, At Kingdee, we have seen firsthand how digital tools can reduce costs and unlock these new markets. For example, our artificial intelligence-powered ERP, cloud computing ERP system, automates tax filing, regulatory reporting, and documentation, easing the compliance burden. Cloud platform enable real-time supply chain management across border. Intelligent analytics help business evaluate risk and opportunities in unfamiliar market. So these tools not only improve operational efficiency, but also build resilience, enabling SMEs to adapt quickly to new environments. Third, case study of some digital-driven SME globalization. Let me give you some example in following area. Like in manufacturing area, most of the SME in Southeast Asia use the Kingdee Cloud Galaxy to manage tax compliance across Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, something like this, and reduce reporting error by around 16%. An e-commerce company in Latin America integrated Kingdee's financial tool to handle international payment, boosting global sales by around 40%. And a logistic SME in BRICS nation, like in Brazil, used our AI-driven ERP system to ensure the tax compliance across the GCC region, achieving seamless regional expansion. So all these kind of cases show that with the right digital foundation, SME can overcome internationalization barrier and scale globally. So let me try to give some conclusion for build a digital first future for SMEs in BRICS nation. To unlock the full potential of SMEs within the BRICS economies, we must work together we can try to work together in establishing cross-border digital policy framework. We can promote adoption of artificial intelligence and the cloud-based ERP, some kind of tools. We can support digital itinerary and readiness at all levels. Kingdee, as a leading cloud-based AI-driven enterprise management software provider, we remain deeply committed to empower SME with leading-edge digital solution and working with our business partner to build an inclusive, innovative, and digitally connected future. So thank you once again. That's all I want to present to you today. I'd like to thank you once again for this opportunity. And I look forward to continue our dialogue and collaboration. Thank you.
Okay, I believe Mrs. Yu Zifan is also going to share a few insights with us. Is that right?
Okay, thank you all. Thank you very much. So Dr. Liu has already shared us about the Kingdee's source. So I will have a brief share with everyone. So before I conclude, I would like to brief highlight that why this topic is not only important, but also urgent across the BRICS economy. We are witnessing repair digital acceleration. But for SMEs, this acceleration comes with the uncertainty, and they need certain in regulation, simplification, and technology, and trust in the systems they adopt. So this is where we as the solution provider, policymakers, and business leaders must step in now, just in the innovation, but with collaboration. So at Kingdee, we believe that technology alone is not enough. what SMEs need is an ecosystem, one that connects digital infrastructures and regulation support and localization experience. That's why we are not only building ERP platform, but also creating value with governments, finance institutions, and global partners. So we are already seeing what possible in Southeast Asia, in Latin America, and also in Middle East. SMEs are succeeding not because they are big, but because they are digital prepared and globally enabled. So let us keep these moments going, and we will look to turn today's insights into tomorrow's action and ensure that SME, no matter their size or origin, then can have a place in the global digital economy. So thank you.
Thank you all for presenting your insights and sharing with us some of your experience. We'll now open the floor to a little discussion, right, amongst us about what you have presented. I would like first to start with Mr. Zhao, asking you about, in your experience, right, at ITC, how can digital tools help small businesses overcome barriers when accessing international markets?
Thank you very much, Lina. I think on the digital tool side, Matthew is better placed than me to speak about it because he's in charge of all the digital tools that we develop. There are a lot of tools, trade maps, market access maps. On my side, I think sort of my experience has more related to the policies. So the work that we do on the policy end is more to help governments to develop enabling policy frameworks. These frameworks provide legal assurance to companies that that whatever they do is legally possible, and that, I mean, in many countries, if you don't have, let's say, regulations on e-contracts, basically the companies are not sure whether they can sign up, put their signatures on the e-contracts, and whether those contracts are legally enforceable. So that's sort of the basic frameworks that we're trying to help countries build to enable digital trade and digital economy. So on digital tools, maybe Matthew can elaborate a bit more on the different tools that we have at ITC.
Mr. Zhao, before we go to Matthew, I would like to complement the question concerning the policies, right? What are the next steps you are working on? I mean, you have told us a little bit about what you have done and how far you have come with concerning those frameworks, those legal frameworks. But what are the next steps, and how can companies also engage in those policies, help you, right, and engage in those policies?
Thank you very much, Lina. I think policy world is to me it's fascinating because it's always constantly evolving, and there's no sort of starting point and end point. For digital space, we saw the policies evolve from e-commerce to have these basic frameworks to enable e-commerce. Now they have evolved to digital trade, which is more focused on digitally enabled services. Where we're bringing in the new sort of policy issues like competition, like digital taxation, and etc. And now we're entering the age of AI, where there are new issues, policy issues that are emerging. The ethics, the issues, the sort of liabilities. If you use AI models that tells you that you need to do some health checks, or you need to take this medication or that medication, who is going to be liable for all these advisory services that you're going to get from the AI? And I think eventually, technologically, it is possible that, computers and AI may know us better than ourselves because they have so much data about, every individual person. But then we need still to figure out what are the sort of policy and legal issues that is involved, especially with regard to the liabilities. If you are on the highway, you put your car into the auto driving mode and there's an accident, who's going to be liable for this? And what kind of changes that will bring to the insurance companies? So these are the important questions that we are. I think there's an ongoing process to discuss the policy aspects of AI, and those are certainly very fascinating discussions.
Well, thank you, Mr. Zhao. Now, Mathieu, with you concerning the tools, you have already presented some of the benefits, right, that AI can bring to small companies in the process of internationalization. And I would like to ask you how those tools can really help, practically help those companies. And also, I would like to ask you if this type of platform, such as the help desk, can really help reduce information asymmetry and enhance SMEs' competitiveness in global trade.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, that's our objective, to address those asymmetries of information and provide reliable, up-to-date, comprehensive information. That's the first mandate of ITC when it was created 60 years ago was to ensure that the information is made available, in particular to developing countries on trade. And then as time has passed, the information has increased, the need of information has increased, and then the technology also has been developed hugely. So we were doing documents, then CD-ROMs, and now we have online platform, digital tools, and we are slowly moving to the use of artificial intelligence as the information is also becoming more and more individualized in a way. So we started with tools that we call market analysis tools. One of them is called Trade Map, where it's a comprehensive database on trade statistics. It's super comprehensive, super up-to-date, and there is a lot of data geeks, statisticians, trade experts, government authorities that use it intensively. There is more than 1 million users a year of this platform. But a small business will find it very difficult because it's a lot of numbers everywhere. So they don't necessarily get to decide based on that. They don't have the time to analyze, and sometimes they don't have the capacity. So we still have a lot of users on those very detailed analytical tools on trade statistics, on market access conditions, tariff, trade agreements, rules of origin, regulatory requirements, when one can really go deep, understand what's happening, and then check also the sources of information. And then we have this global trade desk that has been developed more recently that make the effort of combining all this information and filtering down what is really important for SME to take a decision to enter a new market, to diversify its market or its products. So it can give you just what you need. Is there a demand? Is there a tariff? What are the requirements? And then we move to also where you can sell your product. Is there like a digital platforms, marketplaces, online payment solutions? Are there buyers, logistics providers? So you will have all these leads, and we keep enhancing the information as we hear from businesses what they need. But at the same time, this is becoming a lot of information, and that's where artificial intelligence come into place to also make sure that this access can be customized in a very easy way to anyone. So now 1 million users might have 1 million needs. So artificial intelligence should be here to customize, the way we provide this information. The information source will remain solid, controlled by ITC and our partners, and very comprehensive and up-to-date, but will be filtered on for each individual needs thanks to artificial intelligence.
Thank you very much. It seems really helpful. So entrepreneurs, please do access the help desk, and it really can help you face those challenges. Thank you. Mr. Weissner, I'd like to ask you a question about concerning your experience, how this experience, an European experience, can help the BRICS countries, can serve as an inspiration to us, to the BRICS countries, And also, I would like to hear from you, what are the best practices you have been seeing amongst small businesses that can really leverage digital transformation as a driver for internationalization amongst those companies?
Yeah. So I don't know, to be honest, what is going on in all BRICS states. So sorry for that. But of course, so what I have heard, it's really similar to the ongoing discussions we have in here, and also we use also help desk from the EU and from the German government and regional government. That is all very helpful. So my experience is really the network to work together, so that we have really the community with other colleagues in other states, where we can work very in a hub and spoke model together. So we have one ecosystem. We work together here all on the same frame. I work for the companies of my colleagues outside Germany, and my colleagues in, for example, Netherlands or elsewhere, work for my clients here in North Rhine-Westphalia to find the right partners, to find the right way to get all the information about regulations. Because my experience is, of course, you have the help desk, you have maybe a common regulation like we have now the AI Act and other things here that it's always struggling a little bit with regional and national regulations, because it's not one-to-one in each region in the same way. So, and that's very helpful that you have the contacts, that you know the people and can work here together. And second, if you see digitalization, there are a lot of good practices already. So, but it's very different from case to case. So if you're really digital companies, they go very fast with digitalization. Just a case from last year, we had a client in artificial intelligence for forecasting weather and things like that. He was ready in November with his product, and now is already in 30 countries active. And that is very huge. But if you're in other topics, it's more difficult and maybe a longer way. So my experience, work in networks, work together, and find the right way individually with your client.
Okay, thank you very much. And we are running short of time, but I would like to ask a few last question to Dr. Liu and you. You have helped many Chinese SMEs to become global. And I would like to ask you to give all the other entrepreneurs and companies watching us today a tip, or if you could tell them what should be the next step. I mean, the first step actually they should take in order to become global in this digital framework. What would it be?
Mm-hmm. I think for those kind of enterprise, if they have intention, if they are willing to go in international market, before conduct any execution, actually, I would like to suggest they can conduct the market insight first with artificial intelligence tool. Currently, actually, it's quite easy and quite cost-saving method to conduct the market insight. You know, like use some artificial intelligence chatbot or use the Kindi market insight tools. So before go abroad, before invest any heavy cost, they can have a clear direction which country, which market should be go. And after that, I think for this kind of enterprise can also use the AI tools like Kindi AI-driven ERP to make some financial analysis for this kind of market they want to enter, to choose what should be the preferred, what should be the prioritized industry, what industry they should go, because we can conduct easily to offer industry analysis, industry comparison analysis for them. So before go, they can choose. They can find out the true market. They can find out the right direction. So that's one of my suggestions. See, Ms. Yu, if you have any makeup for that.
Yeah, thank you. So for me, for the many SMEs, they start with very limited resources. So when they come to the world, when they go to international, I think another important thing is not modern tools. They need a platform that can grow with them. So we offer cloud-based ERP system that start small, just finance management or inventory, and then expand as the business grows. Everything is modular, scalable, and fully localized to support different markets. But I think the platform can help them not only as they grow, but also can help them on the platform to link to the government. That means they can get the faster payments, smooth tax filings, and lower compliance risks. That's also very important for them. Okay, thank you. That's all.
Thank you very much. Well, we're short of time now. We have to wrap up our session here. But first of all, I'd like to thank you. Thank you all the panelists here for sharing insights, tools, and practical examples. And to everyone in the audience for participating in this panel. It's clear that digitalization is not just a trend, but a crucial factor for SMEs to grow and compete on a global scale. We have had many insights here that can help you build your strategy and go international. I'd like to highlight that SEBRAE remains committed to supporting Brazilian small businesses in adopting digital solutions and accessing international markets. We will continue to promote events and initiatives to strengthen this journey. This is it. Thank you very much, everyone. And I will now give the floor back to our Master of Ceremonies. We will announce the next segment of this relevant webinar.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice day.
Agradecemos aos painelistas pelas excelentes contribuições, bem como a senhora Lina Volpini pela excelente moderação do painel. Passamos agora ao segmento final desse evento, com uma mesa redonda. Perspectivas dos BRICS sobre a digitalização das pequenas e médias empresas, onde representantes dos países que integram os BRICS poderão dialogar sobre estratégias nacionais, desafios e oportunidades para a digitalização das pequenas e médias empresas. Para isso, convido novamente a senhora Luciana Mancini, chair do Grupo de Trabalho de Pequenas e Médias Empresas dos BRICS e chefe da Assessoria Especial de Assuntos Internacionais do Ministro do Empreendedorismo, da Microempresa e da Empresa de Pequeno Porte no Brasil, para conduzir esse diálogo. Senhora Luciana, por favor.
So good afternoon, esteemed guests, distinguished panelists, and all attendees. So welcome to this important roundtable discussion now on BRICS perspective on SMEs digital transformation. It is really for me an honor to moderate this dialogue, where we will explore, like mostly, national strategies, challenges, and opportunities in fostering digitalization and market access for small and medium enterprise, SMEs, across the BRICS and beyond. Now, let me just recall you that we've representatives from BRICS countries, from international organizations, from experts, from companies. The 4 panels of our webinar series touched on some of the most critical challenges of our BRICS nations. In our first webinar, we focused on how digital technologies and AI specifically are essential to enhance and harness productivities for SMEs, and the critical need for upskilling digital skills and competencies. The third aspect we have discussed is how SMEs can use digital technologies to leverage e-commerce and expand their market reach, which was the first panel of today, and the role of digital policies in enabling SMEs to thrive internationally and foster internationalization of SMEs within the BRICS. Now, what we are going to do now, we now want to hear specifically from governments. The digital transformation of SMEs is crucial for economic growth, innovation, and competitiveness. So each of our BRICS partners bring unique experiences and approach to this transformation. And today we will share insights, best practices, and collaborative opportunities. To begin, I'm pleased to very briefly introduce our esteemed panelists, and I will do that in alphabetical order of BRICS countries. So from Brazil, we have with us today Mr. Paulo Guerreiro, Deputy Director for Trade Promotion and Facilitation at the Ministry of Development, Industry and Commerce of Brazil, the MEDIC. From China, we have Ms. Li Yuan, Director of the Institute of Information and Communications Technology at the Center of International Economic Technological Cooperation at the Ministry of Industry and Information Technology, the MIIT. The ministry which also holds the responsibilities for SMEs public policies in China. We will have from Egypt Mr. Haitham El Mashad, Director for Digital Transformation and Innovation at the Ministry of Industry in Egypt. From India, Ms. Vinamra Mishra, from the Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises of India. And from South Africa, we will have Ms. Nomfezeko Ntika, Director for Innovation and Digital Business at the Department of Small Business Development, which corresponds to the Ministry of SMEs of South Africa. So thank you all for joining us. Now let's begin our discussions. So to start, I would like to invite each of you on alphabetical order of BRICS countries participating in this roundtable to share your country's strategies, policies, programs, initiatives. You all will have, each of you will have a maximum of 6 minutes to make your preliminary, your comments, and then we, at the end of the round, presentations, we will come with specific questions to each of you. So let's begin with Brazil. Mr. Paulo Guerreiro, could you share Brazil's approach to this discussion? Thank you and welcome.
Thank you, Luciana. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending where you're tuning in from. Before I begin, I'd just like to thank the organizers for putting together this series of webinars. I had the pleasure to sit in this morning and listen to some insightful presentations, and I hope I can offer a government perspective and contribute to the discussions of the topics that were dealt with today and in the previous webinar, offering a government perspective. So to begin with, I'd like to just briefly mention how we are seeing the role of AI in the process of internationalization of MSMEs. I think, as Mr. Loredan mentioned in the previous panel, the transformative role that AI can play for businesses is unquestionable. With AI, companies can access a number of services, develop innovative marketing strategies, and generate new ideas with just a prompt and a click. This enhances, of course, operational efficiency and also spurs innovation and growth. I think the level to which this operational efficiency and innovation will be taken remains to be seen as these models develop and improve their accuracy, and as the role and the use of AI agents increase over time. But at the same time, this rapidly evolving digital landscape also presents significant challenges. Issues such as cybercrime, data protection, data privacy, and the protection of intellectual property rights require thoughtful regulation. I think while there is no panacea in how we should regulate, I think that the challenges is for both at the national and the international level for governments to strike a balance between the protection of consumers and society at large, and without hampering innovation and the potential AI has for its users, and especially businesses and MSMEs. But aside from regulations, I think governments also have an instrumental role in supporting and equipping businesses for global success. As we know, worldwide, MSMEs often struggle with accessing comprehensive market data, including information on tariff and non-tariff measures, logistics, and financial factors. And they also, in many cases, MSMEs lack the resources to collect and analyze such critical information, which results in an asymmetric market environment. In Brazil, we've taken concrete steps over the last few years, resorting to digital advancements to promote the participation of businesses in the global market. Here, I'd like to highlight a system we currently have online through which anyone can present inquiries related to trade. It's called the Comex Responde, which translates into something like trade answers. The system currently relies on civil servants working in different government bodies and agencies that have a say in trade to respond individually to each question, which of course takes some time. But we're currently working on an AI-powered solution to provide answers immediately, and we expect the system to be up and running by the end of this year. We'll begin with a disclaimer in which we'll make it very clear that that answer is not binding to an extent, because there are the issues that also Mr. Loredan mentioned of accuracy. But as we test the system, we'll be able to assess if we are properly addressing matters such as the possibility of hallucination by these models. I would also like to highlight here the Brazil Export Platform. This is a product of international cooperation led by the Ministry of Development, Industry and Trade with the United Kingdom, through which we developed a system and a platform that has been online since 2023, and it's currently managed by our trade promotion agency, Apex Brazil. It was conceived as a sort of a one-stop online shop. It's not really a shop because transactions don't take place in the platform, but they do connect SMEs and potential exporters to services providers that can assist in every stage of the export journey. It also integrates seamlessly with another digital tool developed in the Ministry of Industry and Trade called Acesso, which translates something into like Access the World. And it's a system through which companies can assess automatically their level of maturity in their export journey. And based on that assessment, they'll get from the system a list of services they should seek to remain on that path towards their first export. Currently, the platform offers a diverse range of services from government agencies and business associations in an easy-to-navigate format. We're also in the process of creating a registration system that will allow services providers such as logistic operators to showcase their offering. Our vision is for SMEs to concentrate on product development rather than navigating on complex bureaucracies. And in this process, partnering with trusted entities to handle procedural trade aspects is paramount. And among these trusted partners, we consider that online marketplaces operating cross-border e-commerce can be an important ally for MSMEs seeking to export. Many of these marketplaces in Brazil that are operating in Brazil, they extend international sales programs to their sellers. These programs, they offer specialized training, favorable starting fees and conditions, guidance in product preparations, which certainly facilitates the leap into global markets. In line with our national policy for export promotion, which we implemented through a presidential decree back in 2023, we've established some cooperation arrangements with some of these marketplaces and platforms to provide online e-commerce export training and disseminate relevant programs and informational content. We have also taken advantage of these arrangements to organize round tables and other online events to discuss challenges and opportunities from a gender and race perspective with a view to promote the inclusion of underrepresented groups in global trade. I think I'm short of time already. That's what I had prepared for today, and I'm at your disposal for the Q&A session after all the speakers have made their interventions. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Paulo Guerreiro. Very important points, especially on the struggle SMEs face to access data and also how to promote business as a prerequisite to really promote business participation in global markets, and also what the Brazilian government is doing to foster this agenda. We will come back to these issues after the first round of discussions and presentations. I would go now on to next China. Ms. Li Yuan, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Luciana. It's my great pleasure to be here to share with you all the China's experience on the digital transformation of SMEs. I am Li Yuan from the Center for International Economic and Technological Cooperation of the Ministry of Industry and Information Technology. As we know that SMEs are a vital force in driving innovation, creating jobs, and improving livelihood. In China, SMEs account for 99% of all manufacturing enterprises. The digital transformation has become the primary pathway for SMEs to enhance their core competitiveness and achieve high-quality development. The Chinese government places great emphasis on the digital transformation of SMEs, implementing diverse measures to enhance their capabilities to achieve green, inclusive, and sustainable growth. The first is the policy support. China has launched several targeted initiatives, including the Special Action Plan for the Digital Empowerment of SMEs and the Green Development Promotion Project. We have chosen pioneer cities for SME digital transformation, and we use digital transformation is a key driver for developing specialized, refined, unique, and innovative SMEs. China has given special focus on the key industries and enterprises, and the pioneer cities are funded to be the main actors. From 2023 to 2025, China plans to support about 100 cities, helping over 40,000 SMEs undergo the digital transformation. The second is the guiding transformation through standards. China has issued key documents such as the SME Digitalization Level Assessment Indicators 2024 edition and the SME Digital Transformation Guide. These resources establish clear classification standards for assessing digital maturity in critical application scenarios and guide SMEs of various types to pursue tailored, in-depth transformations, either individually or through the chain-based transformation led by key players in the supply chain. To date, over 200,000 SMEs have conducted self-assessment using the SME digitalization level assessment indicators. The third is the mobilizing resources. China has taken steps to ensure both the financial and the service resources are in place. The financial institutions are encouraged to offer targeted products such as digitalization loans and digital transformation loans, providing increased funding to support SMEs in their digital transformation initiatives. Public services have also been strengthened through the National SME Digital Transformation Public Service Platform. We connect data to help develop new services for enterprises. Talent development is another priority. We offer digital transformation training courses for SMEs, organize in-person exchange activities every quarter, and regularly compile best practices for mutual learning and collaboration. China's experience shows that digital transformation offers SMEs new opportunities to improve quality, reduce costs, and innovate business. It strengthens their innovation capacity and helps them to become more specialized, paving the way for sustainable growth. However, China has a large number of SMEs across a wide range of sectors, and those SMEs have different levels of digital readiness. So while the path forward is full of potential, it also comes with obstacles. So the Chinese government is committed to working closely with the BRICS member states to jointly promote the SME digital transformation, strengthen their innovation capabilities and their resilience, and achieve sustainable, healthy, and high-quality development for the SMEs. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much indeed. I mean, excellent points. It's incredible to note that the percentage of SMEs in the total number of companies in China is extremely high and very similar actually to other BRICS countries as well, like Brazil. Also, digital transformation to become a key aspect of the government, a priority of the Chinese government. That's very important to note as well, especially with the special action plan for digital transformation that you mentioned, very much connected to the key sectors, the key industrial sectors of the Chinese economy. And it's important to also highlight that in China, the participation, the engagement of Chinese SMEs in the Chinese export in international trade is quite absolutely significant as well. So a lot to talk, a lot to learn from the Chinese experience, and we will move on and continue sharing this experience after we finish the first round of presentations. Thank you very much. I will now give the floor to Egypt. We have with us Mr. Haitham El Mashad, Director of Digital Transformation and Innovation at the Ministry of Industry of Egypt. Mr. El Mashad, you have the floor. You have the floor, Mr. Mashad. Mr. El Mashad is with us, or está conosco? No. So I don't think we have Mr. El Mashad from Egypt with us for some reasons. I will move on then to India, and I will then pass the floor to India. We have Mr. Vinayram Mishra from the Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises of India. Mr. Mishra, you have the floor. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Luciana. Thank you for having me, first of all. And it is a pleasure to be listening to the preceding sessions on digital transformation and e-commerce and the various efforts that all the BRICS countries and nations are doing towards digitally transforming the SMEs of their countries. Obviously, from the experts sharing their views, we as BRICS nation can increasingly converge on digitalization as a key driver of our economic growth of our nations and obviously into increasing global influence worldwide. Going on for the country India, we, the government of India, puts the digital transformation as one of the key areas or the core area which is going to be a transformative agent or a source of the entire transformation. So it is at the basis of all the transformation that is happening within the country. The country launched the Digital India policy in 2015, and we've seen a lot of support and interventions coming through the Digital India platform and policy into catapulting India into the digital transformation arena. We currently hold the world's largest biometric-based data digital identity program. The UPI is the Unified Payment Interface, and the cashless transactions have revolutionized the consumer behavior and have really brought about ease of doing business for all the smaller companies as well as the larger companies and the retailers. The expansion of internet connectivity is also at the core of the digital transformation, and we currently are having one of the cheapest data sets and largest data users, and we've already crossed about 900 million internet users in the country. Also, the fact that India is really growing in terms of startups. We are currently the third largest startup ecosystem globally, and therefore the digital marketing, AI-driven recommendations, and e-commerce boom has really taken the digitalization efforts to new highs. Now coming to the MSME ecosystem in the country, I completely agree with you that all the BRICS nations actually share the same distribution or segregation of the MSMEs, and the numbers here in India also is in excess of 99% of the total manufacturing and services industry in the country. But the digital transformation of these MSMEs, we've kind of put it together under the 4 different pillars. The first obviously is the formalization, where we think that most of the MSMEs need to come into the formal fold so that all the interventions are made available to them through a single window kind of a system. So first and foremost, the informalization of all these smaller units is important, and there we leverage a lot of digital technology to kind of formalize and make them register online with us. Then the access to technology, access to credit, the access to delayed payments and prompt payments, the access to marketing. These are the other few pillars which form the basis on which the MSME transformation basis the digitalization is happening. And obviously, once everything is in place, and despite the good efforts, there would be some grievances. So how grievance redressal mechanism can also be utilized through a very active and an intelligent grievance redressal system in place, making a whole bouquet of MSME support system in place. So I will talk about the formalization aspect first quickly, where we have introduced the system of Udyam registration. Udyam in India means smaller industries, and registration is the process of online registration. And we now can proudly say that this Udyam registration or registration of these SMEs into the formal fold is one of the biggest, largest DPIs, public infrastructure in the country, which has close to about 62 million MSMEs already registered into it. This is a fully online process requiring no physical documentation. It creates a very robust database, which basically makes us realize the exact identification of the size, the classification, whether it is a micro, small or a medium enterprise, the sector it is there, the geographical presence, the subsector it is operating. And therefore this source data is making us very, very knowledgeable of the fact that which intervention, how much, and in what quantity and where is required. So this database is basically utilized to create all these interventions into the MSME sector. Now coming to the access of technology and how digitalization is helping them, we have a set of technology centers all over the country where we have access to modern machines, the industry 4.0 enabled, AI enabled machines, where the MSMEs can come and plug and play there and make their own sub-assemblies. These centers are working in the model of hub and spoke, where the larger centers are hand-holding the smaller centers to make sure that the outreach of these technology centers are to the every nook and corner of the country. And again, the entire process of beneficiary support is through a digital platform, and supporting the MSMEs through a digital platform makes sure that right from application to registration to accessing benefits, these MSMEs are using state-of-art digital interface, which is making the systems more transparent, more easy for them to access it, and are end-to-end digitized. Also, the various schemes on sustainability, on green technology, on circular economy and circularity in manufacturing, everything is on end-to-end digitalized platforms where the MSMEs can readily come, register, and take the benefits of these various schemes. Then the third pillar is already around the access to credit and finance, obviously for the smaller enterprises which work on very smaller profit margins. For them, working capital support and financial support are very primary motives of the government of India, and therefore fintech has been the hallmark of India. And currently more than 45% of the world's digital transaction daily is happening in India because of the robust unified payment interface in place. Not only improves the liquidity, but also supports the transparency in the system. The various financial models like interest subsidies, like investment into equities, like capital subsidies, and utilizing the primary industrial, commercial, as well as the financial data to access the credit is making the access to finance more easy, timely, and adequate. And in addition to that, as I earlier said, the prompt payment is yet another pillar where the smaller companies are the sellers, the larger corporates or the larger industries are the buyers. The MSMEs, the smaller companies work on smaller profit systems. So they would need the liquidity in the money and the payment of the bills. So a very innovative AI-driven online dispute resolution systems are in place now, where the digital guided pathway actually helps the buyer and the seller on both the sides reconcile or resolve their disputes of payment, and then the payments are getting made to them. Also, we have a very robust financial or invoice discounting system where the buyer can actually take advantage of various banks and the financial institutions and can service their payments into the sellers through a very innovative e-discounting platform, which is doing very well since it was launched in over the last 4-5 years. The last pillar is obviously the marketing pillar, where we are supporting lots of MSMEs access to the domestic market as well as the international market matchmaking. And a special scheme has also been launched where we are supporting the MSMEs get into the cataloging, into the logistics, into the packaging, and onboard onto the e-commerce platform to make sure that their products are not only getting picked up by the users and the demand is created. The supply is also kind of enforced through the various supports of logistics and packaging. And we also support the MSMEs in the country with the global information management system, which is in place to understand the worldwide requirement of the various products and services which can support the MSMEs with much required data or the access to the information for supporting the global outreach. We understand that information asymmetry is yet another challenge, and through this this digital platform of global information, we can actually assess where the assemblies, where the services are required, where the products are required, and that can then be match made or maybe handheld. The MSMEs can be handheld for going ahead and do the marketing of their products and businesses. Then the last pillar is the grievance. We have a very robust grievance redressal system. Obviously, with all these support systems in place, ultimately, if there is any grievance which is there, we make sure that the system, the digital systems are connecting these grievances to the person or the resources who are actually dealing with the redressal. So we have on one side the MSMEs who have their grievances. On the other side, we have the entire administration, all the various ministries of the government of India who in turn have the best resources in place to address these grievances. Also, we have a lot of technology centers, technology institutions, academic institutions, the financial institutions, etc. on the other side, so that whatever support is required through redressal of these grievances is done through this platform. And after that, the feedback mechanism is also very important. And there we have utilized a lot of AI into the system, which kind of categorizes the various grievances. It also takes up very intelligently as to how the feedback or the quality of feedback or the redressal was done, and therefore it helps us to check back and support the continuous improvement of the grievance redressal systems. I would like, this was the brief I would wanted to highlight during this part of my discourse. But obviously, we can definitely understand the transformative power of technology. Our countries can collaborate on the digital infrastructure, cybersecurity, fintech, and artificial intelligence, obviously e-governance. And these cooperation in these can actually strengthen our collective digital footprint in the global economy. And it can be carried out through systems of sharing of informations, useful informations amongst the BRICS nations, having a clear-cut point of contact in place, which can be the SPOC for the nation, which can help disseminate the various informations. And we can obviously collaborate. We've been listening to all the best practices that all our countries are doing in the field of digital transformation. And obviously the collaboration on the best practices of all our nation in the field of digitalization will help make all our nations more robust and supportive of each other. So I would like to close here. I'll be available for the Q&A, which might follow later. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. It's incredible. I mean, how digitalization is a key driver of the Indian economy, but also of the all BRICS countries. We share exactly the same priority, the same vision. Digital transformation is a core area that the Indian government is focusing on. And I think we have a lot to share and a lot to learn from the Indian experience as well. Of course, that we are talking about a different dimension in terms of not only the population, but also in terms of the number of SMEs that you have in the country. We are talking about, as you mentioned, like 62 million as formalized and registered online. And it's an incredible, of course, it's an incredible amount. But I think that it's very, very clear that we have a lot to learn amongst BRICS countries, and we have a lot to collaborate to foster and to empower SMEs within the bloc. Very interesting, very important, very relevant information you brought to us today. Thank you very much. We will continue now with the presentation by Russia. We'll have Mr. Pavel Kondrashov. He's the head of International Cooperation Directorate at the Russian Small Medium Business Corporation, or SMB of Russia. Mr. Kondrashov, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, dear colleagues. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whether it's relevant. My name is Pavel Kondrashov, and I represent Russian Small Medium Business Corporation, which is a government institution in the field of small, medium-sized business development in Russia. The range of challenges that are associated with the digital age is at the top of the agenda for the majority of the BRICS member states. We believe that digital transformation is a complex, multi-dimensional task. In order to facilitate it, Russia adopted the national program Digital Economy, and among others, it envisages accelerated introduction of digital technologies into economic processes, converting public services into electronic format, accumulating and processing large volumes of data for the further use in practice. Our Russian Small Medium Business Corporation aims to support the development of SMEs, starting with the provision of preferential loans to SMEs, guarantees, training, accelerating the skills. We open new markets for them in Russia and abroad, solve business problems. Targeted support is provided by our subsidiary bank and leasing companies. In 2022, together with the Ministry of Economic Development of Russia, we launched a special state digital platform, which provides Russian entrepreneurs with the unified access in a one-stop-shop mode to all the services for business, and made it possible to provide efficient and tailored measures for SMEs, such as governmental services, regional support measures, business services, training programs, analytics for SMEs on one web resource, the platform website. In Russia, it is called MSPRF. There are more than 30 services are available on the digital platform now, and about 1 million users have been registered, which is far less than in India, but as we have 6 million small medium enterprises in Russia, so we have 1 million of them registered on our platform. The digital platform proactively communicates, interacts with entrepreneurs. One of the key elements of the platform is the entrepreneur's digital profile. All personal data of the users is automatically downloaded from open official sources, and it is not necessary to upload the data manually. So these are different governmental services, regional support measures, business services, training programs, analytics for SMEs on one web resource. What I would like to emphasize, the role of creating digital infrastructure for SMEs cannot be overestimated. For business, there are free services for starting and doing business through a single window. For obtaining services and support measures, business can directly communicate with government. For governmental authorities, digital infrastructure provides automation of provision of support measures, analysis and control of internal support procedures, transition to tailored support measures and services, direct provision of support without contractors, and up-to-date assessment of business satisfaction and efficiency of support measures. One of the services is called industrial cooperation distribution, and which is what can be used effectively with our partners from BRICS countries. Using this service, authorized users of the platform may offer their products and services to potential customers and publish their requests to find suppliers of non-food and industrial products. Manufacturers of non-food products may publish information on their company's products and services and offer them directly to potential customers. Two parts of the service are used for this purpose. Industrial companies register is a catalog of verified manufacturers of industrial products and non-food products in the SME segment across Russia. And become a supplier to retailers and manufacturers section contains requests for purchases and requirements in industrial products, raw materials and components from large Russian and foreign customers. By now, we have the request for more than 200 Russian and 96 foreign industrial and trading companies, and more than 9,800 product items have been converted to digital form. SMEs made more than 200 deals with their partners using the service, including 81 with foreign companies, including the deals with the companies from BRICS countries. And we have some proposals for cooperation, which I think I will tell you about later when we will be talking in Q&A section. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much indeed. Excellent contributions. I would now pass on the floor to South Africa. Ms. Nomfezeko Mtika, your insights, you have the floor.
Greetings to the program coordinator, esteemed fellow panelists and distinguished guests. It is an honor to participate in this critical dialogue on advancing the digital transformation of MSMEs across the BRICS nation. Thanks to the organizers and partners of the important discussion. In this session, I will outline South Africa's strategies aimed at fostering MSME digital transformation and challenges that hinder progress. In addition, I will explore collaborative opportunities within the BRICS Alliance to promote inclusive development. The policy and regulatory interventions, we have the Presidential Commission on 4IR report, whose core objectives are to position South Africa as a leader in inclusive 4IR adoption through ethical governance, skills development, and industrial transformation. The key recommendations of this project include establishing of 4IR technology vouchers for MSMEs to adopt AI or blockchain, create township digital hubs for grassroots innovation, reskill 1 million youth in 4IR technologies by 2030, launch BRICS Digital Skills Passport Program, develop Africa's first AI regulatory sandbox, position SA as a BRICS thought leader on 4IR ethics, create smart factory subsidies aligned with BRICS industrial policies, prioritize support for women-led tech startups. The second strategy is the National Digital and Future Skills Strategy, whose objective is to equip South Africa's workforce with 4IR ready skills while ensuring inclusive growth and global competitiveness. The key aims of this strategy is to close the skills gap in tech-driven sectors, upskill youth, women, and informal businesses for digital jobs, align training with digital industry needs via private sector partnership, boost MSME competitiveness through affordable digital training and BRICS-aligned certification. The next is National E-commerce Policy Framework. The core objectives of this framework is to position South Africa as a competitive player in global digital trade by creating an enabling environment for e-commerce growth with special focus on MSME inclusion. The key pillars of this framework is to expand affordable digital connectivity, promote secure digital payment system, simplify cross-border e-commerce for MSME through streamlined regulations, support digitalization of informal businesses, align standards with BRICS digital trade agreements, leverage platforms like China's Digital Silk Road for market access, strengthen data protection frameworks, combat online fraud to build MSME credibility. The next one is Industry Policy Action Plan. The core objective of this plan is to drive industrial modernization and job creation by accelerating technology adoption in manufacturing with a strong focus on MSME competitiveness in the 4IR era. The key priorities of this plan is to subsidize Internet of Things, AI, and automation adoption in manufacturing MSMEs, special support for Black-owned industrial startups, provide incentives for local production of renewable energy components, export readiness program for automotive MSMEs, align with China's Made in China 2025 in smart factories, technology transfer partnership with Indian manufacturing hubs, support for circular economy business model, skills program for green manufacturing. We also have national cybersecurity policy framework. The objective is to secure South Africa's digital economy and critical infrastructure while enabling trusted cross-border e-commerce, particularly for MSMEs. The key priorities of this framework is affordable cybersecurity tools and training for small businesses, special focus on e-commerce and fintech protection, align with Russia's BRICS cybersecurity initiatives, joint threat intelligence sharing mechanism, enhance safeguards for energy, finance, and telecoms sectors, public-private partnership for threat monitoring, secure digital identity frameworks for cross-border transaction, combat cybercrime to boost MSME export confidence. As we know, that policy is only as powerful as its implementation. That's where infrastructure comes in. In South Africa, we are implementing SA Connect Phase 2, which is a national broadband rollout to underserved areas. We also have digital hubs network offering MSMEs training on AI, e-commerce, and cybersecurity. We also have township and rural entrepreneurship program, which whose one of the aims is to digitalize informal businesses by leveraging infrastructure like broadband and digital hubs. Challenges include limited digital infrastructure, skills gap, high cost of digital adoption, cybersecurity concerns, regulatory challenges. In terms of collaborative opportunities, we have identified establishing BRICS Digital Hub Network by integrating SA's digital hubs with India's Atal incubation centers and China's Zhongnan Tech Parks to create a shared visual incubation platform and a sandbox initiative that would allow startups to pilot and test innovative solutions within multiple BRICS markets, fostering joint innovation and growth. Another opportunity is to establish specialized incubation tracks by leveraging the unique strength of BRICS. We can focus on fintech by merging South Africa's regulatory sandbox with Russia's advanced cybersecurity capabilities to create a secure and innovative environment for fintech solution. Another opportunity is to facilitate collaboration between South Africa's automotive MSMEs, India's electronic vehicles startups, and China's cutting-edge battery technology, fostering the development of sustainable green supply chains within the BRICS framework. The last opportunity that we've identified is creating a joint investment initiative focused on enhancing digital connectivity, expanding cloud services, and improving broadband access for MSMEs in underserved regions. This initiative would promote greater inclusivity and enable MSMEs across BRICS nations to fully engage in the digital economy, fostering innovation and growth. I will end here, and thank you all for. I will hand back to the moderator. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed. That was excellent and very inspiring. And thank you very much for the suggestions, where this is exactly what we are looking for, is to explore possibilities for integration, for collaboration amongst BRICS countries. So we do want to organize and systematize your suggestions later on. Now, I would, due to time constraints, I would ask you to be very, very brief. We'll only have the possibility of asking one brief question to each of you. So I would start and ask for your support to really respond in a very, very short and straightforward manner. Now I will start with Brazil. I wonder if you could share with us how BRICS can use artificial intelligence to help MSMEs overcome language barriers and information asymmetry on their markets. I will pass on the floor to Mr. Paulo Guerreiro to briefly respond to this only question, unfortunately.
Thank you, Luciana. I think there may be a potential and promising avenue for BRICS to cooperate in the future. This I'm saying from a personal standpoint, based on interactions I've had in international fora. If I recall correctly, I think during the last Indian G20 presidency in 2023, a proposal was put forward in the Trade and Investment Working Group to develop systems that use generative AI to aggregate data from various portals. I think this can provide SMEs a BRICS platform of that nature could certainly come in handy for BRICS SMEs and offer them market insights, information on regulatory measures, and logistical details. This I'm saying based on interactions that we have with businesses, the issue of market asymmetry and more clarity on product-specific information is something that always comes up when we interact with businesses. And it would also be a way to promote intra-BRICS trade. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. I will now actually pass on the floor to last but by no means least, and I apologize for my mistake. I would like to pass on the floor to Mr. Alexei Savrazov from UNIDO, the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, for your presentation, your comments.
Yes, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for having us here. Thank you to the organizers and partner for having UNIDO to hear our contributions and to hear our approaches of how we support industrial SMEs across the BRICS. What we see, of course, is in the next decade, BRICS economies will determine the trajectory of global industrial innovation. And this particular project, which is the BRICS Center for Industrial Competencies, is our answer to that, ensuring that SMEs across the BRICS are at the forefront of this transformation. Here we would like to unite industrial competencies across the BRICS, helping SMEs adopt cutting-edge manufacturing technologies. Why this project? BRICS countries officially requested our support in the declaration of the 8th meeting of the Ministers of Industry in August 2024, which was reiterated during the summit last year. And this is our response to those commitments for the BRICS that we need to deliver the targeted support for small and medium-sized enterprises. So what is BRICS Center for Industrial Competencies? It is a network-based entity which unites BCIC partners. It will be national centers of industrial competencies, a diverse group of service providers, like the ones we've heard from today, from our colleagues in this panel and before that, to support the beneficiaries of BCIC, who are the manufacturing SMEs, by coordinating, guiding, enabling the support and resources from the BRICS partners. BCIC is open to a wide range of institutions, including smart manufacturing centers, digital excellence hubs, but also innovation agencies and chambers of commerce and trade promotion agencies. And as a partner, such institutions will join, of course, the BRICS-wide innovation ecosystem of experts, policy actors, service providers, participate in advanced training programs, share their regional expertise and agendas through sectoral and thematic working groups, and of course gain global visibility and recognition as the industrial transformation broker within the BRICS. For the manufacturing SMEs, who are our target group, we offer a pathway to transformation, to scale, innovate, and access new markets. It will be delivered through targeted services, partnering support to connect with the fellow SMEs, with potential buyers, but also researchers, innovation agencies, and advisory services to build tailored transformation plans for digitalization. How it all will work. It will be governed by the steering committee, and services will be delivered through a community-driven e-platform, which will enable matchmaking, resource exchange, and real-time collaboration, which will unite the resources and the platforms of our partners. We would like to see it as a hub for the industrial competencies. The e-platform would be a hub for industrial transformation for the manufacturing SMEs, and the key features is cross-border innovation communities, real-time industrial networking and matchmaking for any target small and medium-sized enterprises from across the BRICS. We will have the matchmaking facilities there, powered by the artificial intelligence. We will have the marketplace where the small and medium-sized enterprises will be able to publish their opportunities, products, and services. And in conclusion of my short talk, we would like, for those who want to become the partner, please join us, offer services, expertise, and training to the SMEs across the BRICS. And for the SMEs, of course, to go and register on the digital platform and access tailored transformation support and the opportunities to promote your products, promote your services, and find a technological partner across the BRICS. And as the next immediate step is, please join us at the BCIC signing ceremony on the 9th of April, online or in Vienna. We will be honored to have you there and join us on this occasion to kickstart the work of the initiative. With that, I would like to conclude. Thank you so much for the organizers, and we are looking forward to supporting the BRICS and the BRICS SMEs, industrial SMEs especially, in their journey to industrial and economic development. Thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much indeed, Mr. Alexei Savrasov. Excellent. Thank you so much for the opportunity for us to get to know more about the BCIC platform, which will be certainly very, very useful and relevant for all our BRICS governments to engage and to participate and advance in collaboration and use the platform as a way to collaborate amongst ourselves as well. Thank you very, very much indeed. I will now go back to China, and just very briefly, I wonder if you could share with us what you consider to be the highlights, the key practices, best practices in China, highlighting the main ones to promote digitalization for SMEs in China and what makes China so successful in that endeavor. Very briefly, because of the time constraints. Thank you. You have the floor.
Thank you very much thank you, Luciana, for organizing such a good event. We've learned a lot from the BRICS member states for the good practices. Actually, I like to, with these opportunities, to share with you one of the best practices. I just don't want one of the practices is the Ele.me, which is very popular online food delivery platform in China. And what they did is that they capitalized on the strengths of the data consolidation and the circulation inherent to its platforms, assisting merchants with their online marketing. And secondly, the platform provides a wealth of cloud-based subscription digital tools that enhances the business management capabilities for merchants. And furthermore, the platforms leverage its extensive repository of transactional data to assist merchants with the financial credit modeling. And finally, the platform collaborates with the official organizations to leverage online operational data for the comprehensive food safety and quality supervision. Here, I with this opportunity to to give you this example is that this is just one of the examples that how the Chinese companies are motivating, are using the ICT technologies to do the services for the customers. In China, actually, we encourage the innovation and we encourage the entrepreneurship of the SMEs. That's why that's so many SMEs flourished in China. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you very, very much indeed. That was an excellent point. We have a lot to learn from the Chinese experience as well. And we would very much like to push forward this agenda within the BRICS SME working group to share these best practices and initiatives within the BRICS. Now I'll move on to India. I was wondering if you could share very briefly with us in promoting SMEs market access and digitalization, like what platforms does India has currently, and how do you promote women participation in market access, given that the majority of entrepreneurs are in the world, I mean, in the BRICS countries are women. You have the floor.
Thank you, Luciana. Obviously, one of the very important initiatives, digital transformation initiative of all the MSMEs here, is the Udyam registration platform, which is the single largest platform where the MSMEs can come register and take all the benefits of all these schemes that the government of India is currently running for them. As I earlier told you, we have at the current moment a robust database of close to about 62 million MSMEs who have already registered, and out of this, close to about 18% are the MSMEs who are women-owned, and therefore access to market and the marketing initiatives for these women-owned entrepreneurs and the enterprises are very, very important for us. For that, we have introduced a very innovative platform which goes by the name of Team Platform, which is trade enablement and marketing platform, where we are looking at giving a single window support for marketing of any product or any services that the enterprises are having to latch them onto the e-commerce platform. Only on arriving on the e-commerce platform is one thing, but to be able to be viewed or potential by the potential buyers and the customers, we also provide them a lot of cataloging services by the professionals. We have also engaged the Indian Institute of Packaging and Designing for helping them package their products. And at the end of it all, after the logistics have to be in place, after the orders are done, the delivery and the logistics for delivery is also ensured with a lot of subsidies for the delivery part also. And in this team initiative or the team interventions, we have ensured that close to about 50% of this beneficiaries have to be women enterprises. So the overall digital transformation is happening through the Udyam registration, and the specific marketing initiatives with focus on women is happening through the team initiative of the Government of India.
Excellent. Thank you very, very much indeed. I now give the floor to Russia. And the question basically is, what digital infrastructure has been established really to foster digital transformation in SMEs in Russia, and how we can, like how your expertise can support the collaboration with BRICS to foster SMEs digitalization?
Yeah, thank you very much for your question. I would like to underline that in Russia we have established digital platform, which is open also for collaboration with our BRICS countries, with the relevant platforms. And in such a way, we would like to propose 3 directions of collaboration between Russia and between BRICS countries. First is to use digital platform for the development of international industrial cooperation between BRICS countries. Second is to support individual business project of SMEs, including assistance of integrating SMEs into the supply chains of companies, access to third country markets. And the last but not least is that we should share the experience and best practices in building a digital infrastructure of trade and economic relations. We look forward to participation in respective BRICS initiatives, including those highlighted today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed. And last but not by no means least, we have South Africa. So I just briefly would like to hear from you. What are the biggest barriers South African SMEs face in digital transformation, and how can we BRICS nations collaborate to support South African SMEs and to collaborate as a whole, as a bloc? I would like to hear that from you.
Thank you very much, Luciana, for that question. Some of the challenges the country is facing at the moment is limited digital infrastructure, particularly in rural and underserviced areas, due to inadequate internet access and high data costs. We also have issues with skills gaps, as some MSMEs lack the necessary digital skills to adopt and leverage technologies effectively. We also have an issue with high cost of digital adoption. Cybersecurity concerns is also an issue, as often as MSMEs often lack the knowledge and resources to protect themselves against cybersecurity. We also have challenges with regulatory challenges with complex regulatory reforms, which make digital adoption difficult. So I think I've highlighted some of the opportunities that collaborative opportunities between the country and other BRICS nations. Thank you, Luciana.
Thank you very much indeed. So we would like first that this collaboration, this connection between our governments continue. The discussion doesn't end today. We will move on with collecting all your contributions to make sure that our BRICS SME working group actually come up with concrete advancements in this agenda, and we count very much on your support of all BRICS governments to that objective. I thank you very, very much indeed for your participation, your collaboration, excellent contributions. I think we have a lot of work ahead of us to actually implement and foster this agenda. With that, I officially close this session. Thank you all very, very much. And I pass on the floor to our Master of Ceremony. You have the floor. Thank you very much indeed.
Chegamos ao fim deste ciclo de webinários e queremos reconhecer a qualidade das contribuições e a dedicação de todos os envolvidos. Nosso profundo agradecimento aos especialistas e mediadores que compartilharam seu conhecimento, bem como às instituições organizadoras pela parceria e o apoio essencial. Também celebramos a participação ativa do público, cuja interação enriqueceu as discussões. Lembramos tanto o webinário do dia de hoje quanto o primeiro webinário deste ciclo ficam disponíveis nesse canal. Muito obrigada mais uma vez por estarem conosco e até a próxima.